What's up YouTube? Welcome to my channel. This is NIO Bull and I'm Brendan McCann. On this channel I'm obviously going to be very closely following NIO and some other stocks along the way. Now if you are new to the channel, I suggest you go back, just watch my first video at least. It really explains my position in NIO and why I'm so bullish. Now for today's video, as promised, it's the end of the month, so we're going to do a recap on the chart that I produced with my predictions or hopes of where I thought NIO would be by the end of the month. Now, bit of a spoiler alert, the only thing more wrong than me this month was Trevor Milton's Tinder profile. I've also made a very risky investment decision with Tesla, which I may end up regretting. However, as I said, I'm more of a gambler than an investor, so let's see how that pans out. So before all that, I'm going to briefly go through Tesla Battery Day. Now I am going to skim through it because I'm sure you've all seen several videos on it by now. And I'm just going to add how I think it's going to potentially affect NIO in the short and long term. At this juncture, I need to tell you, I am not a financial advisor. Anything in this video is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken as financial advice. Let's take a look at the battery. Just reading off of the spec sheet is 5 times the energy, 6 times the power and 16% added range. There are so many things they've done with this battery to make it produce all of this. For all of the advances that they've made with battery technology, with the manufacturing and the chemistry, what really stuck out for me was to be able to produce a battery of that size, which I believe is 46 by 80. They had to overcome the thermal issue. Now, it's basic electrical theory that any current that travels over a distance has resistance. That resistance causes heat. The only way to reduce that resistance is to reduce the distance. And it's that simple thinking. How to implement that is the genius part, where they've removed the tab and now they have several points of contact all the way around the battery, so reducing the distance of the current. Now I don't know if anyone else has tried to do this yet. I mean, bear in mind there are factories all around the world with people trying to crack this and similar battery issues. But if Tesla are the first people to produce this, then it really is a game changer. The other bit I want to go through is the manufacture of the car body. Now the front and rear pieces of the car body are now a single piece die cast, and the centerpiece is the battery pack, which is now structural. So essentially the car's made out of 3 pieces, and I think they said it's a reduction of manufacture of 370 separate pieces. You do not need to be a manufacturing expert to understand that this is going to be huge savings in the manufacturing. Legacy automakers are just not going to be able to keep up with this. After watching several interviews with Sandy Munro, who is a automotive manufacturing god, he's got 30 years experience in the business. He worked for Ford. He was right at the top of his game for many years. Now it appears from these interviews that whenever there's a good idea, there's so much red tape to go through to actually implement these ideas, and quite often they get left by the wayside. So these really good advances that they could have had, they don't get, and everything stays the same. So again, in that respect, Tesla is miles ahead of the game. One other thing I wanted to touch on was the $25,000 car. Now, this is going to be insane. I think it's what everyone's been waiting for, a truly affordable Tesla. The only thing, I mean, we have no idea what it's going to look like. I'm sure it's going to be insane. The only thing I will point out that everyone's going on about a fully autonomous $25,000 car. We are all hoping that full autonomy is going to be on the road in 3 years. Now, there is no way you're going to get a fully autonomous car for $25,000. You can have the car, but the autonomy is probably going to cost you $100,000. But other than that, I'm going to be in the queue for a 25 grand Tesla. That's for sure. So how does this all affect NIO? Well, first of all, the battery technology. Yeah, it is leaps and bounds ahead. However, Elon Musk has said 18 months to 3 years, which we all famously know is going to be 2 to 4 or longer. And in that time, I'm sure, especially now, if they weren't already, a lot of other battery companies are going to be working on similar technology. Personally, I think Tesla will have it first, but we don't know for sure. And for the manufacturing of the front and rear body in single piece die cast. Now, this one could be a sticking point, definitely. But one thing I can assure you of, if it can be copied, it will be copied. And again, it's not going to be for 2 to 4 years. And I'm guessing anyone who's smart, and William Li is smart, is going to be pulling their hair out, working as hard as they can to make sure that they are not going to catch up with them, but close the gap. And the $25,000 car, again, this is something NIO and other car makers are going to be working on. Of course, you want a truly affordable car. I think Tesla are probably going to have it first, but this is definitely something that William Li would have been thinking about for many years. And recently he said in an interview that his initial strategy of targeting the high-end market was the right one. It got them into the market. They're now selling a lot more cars. But what I took from that was, he said, his initial strategy, which means, in my opinion, of course, all the time he was looking at producing an affordable car, but that wasn't his entrance into the market. So in conclusion of all that, yeah, Tesla are doing some amazing things, but I think NIO are really in with a good shout. Now, the thing is that people forget is that for everyone who loves Tesla, there are plenty of people who don't. And those people are looking for a second place. I'll never pretend that I think that NIO are going to take over Tesla, because it's not possible. Tesla are the leaders, they were first, they're producing the best stuff, and they will carry on producing the best stuff. And everyone will copy them. What NIO need to do, and as I've said several times, what I think they will do is be their best second place. And if they do that, as I said before, we're all going to make a lot of money. So that's Battery Day just skimmed through and how I think it may affect NIO. So let's move on to the chart with my predictions or hopes of where I thought NIO would be at the end of this month. So before we go into the chart, as full disclosure, I made a very, very risky decision this month, and it's something that could really haunt me in the future. So I've closed my position with Tesla, and I know, it could be the worst decision I've made, but there's method to my madness. Now, I got into Tesla and basically doubled my money. My initial investment to Tesla was around $20,000 and I pulled out around $50,000. I pulled out at 400 just after Battery Day. Now, there's several reasons for this. Some risk management, which I probably shouldn't have pulled it all out. However, my thinking is that because of the November elections coming up and everything's so volatile at the moment, but what I do have now is $50,000 in cash for anything that happens across the market. It could be if Apple drops out to say $80, if Tesla drops down again below towards $300, it could happen. And the same with NIO. If NIO drops down, I have money on hand now, but I have to make it very clear. Any smart investor would tell you to hold Tesla. But this is NIO Bull. I'm here to try and make a lot of money over 2 years, and I'm not necessarily going to do that in that time period by holding. But anyone thinking of doing this sort of thing, you better have a strong stomach, because when you see a stock going up that you've pulled out of and it's costing you tens of thousands of dollars, it's gonna hurt.
At the time of this recording, it is Monday the 28th of September, just after open of market. NIO is sat at around $19, and my complete portfolio is sat in between $113,000 and £114,000, which is around $145,000 US dollars.
Right, so that's the portfolio looked at. So now we're going to add the data into the chart. And for those of you that don't know, this is the chart that I've produced to track my progress towards my goal of £2 million in 3 years. Now, as you can see, On the top we have the months, and then on the left I've put the events that I thought and hoped would help progress the NIO stock. And again, this is a bit of fun for me to revisit, and I think it'd be interesting to watch over time. This is not to be taken as any sort of financial advice. As you're about to see, on the very first one, I was very, very wrong. So what we're looking at today is September, and the event is Battery Day. Now I hoped, due to the fact NIO had had a lot of good news in the past, that Tesla Battery Day would drag NIO up along with it. Maybe dragging it up by as much as 20% is what I hoped. This 20% rise would take us up to a price of $22.20 from $18. Now, after looking at my portfolio, you can see at the time of this recording, NIO is at $19. I'm going to add that into the chart. Okay, so under the 20%, I'm going to add 2.7% in red, arrowing up to show that was the true amount. So I just add in the rest of the information from my portfolio. So my NIO position was at 92k. It is now at 73,000 pounds, which is about 93,000 US dollars. So I'm going to add that in. And my complete portfolio is sat at around £113,000 or $145,000. Now it stayed the same due to the fluctuation in currency exchange. So I'm going to leave that as is. So even though I didn't get to where I wanted to get to with the $22, we're at 19. I still think there's potential we can get up to $28, close to 30 by the end of the year. When you look at it, NIO's had no bad news. It's only had good news, which means all that good news is going to build up like pressure, and hopefully it's going to break out at some point and we're going to end up close to where we want to be. It's just what I hope, and I know there's a lot of you out there that are also hoping the same thing. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. A special thank you to all the people who subscribed. I'm at 850 subscribers already after just 4 videos. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do, as it really does help out the channel. I really want to get to that 1,000 subscribers soon. And don't forget to add a comment below. I'd love to know what you think. Do you think me selling my Tesla shares is the stupidest thing I've ever done? I know a lot of people will. And where do you think NIO's going to go? What do you think the consequences of all this Tesla technology that's coming out? Do you really think it's a terrible thing for NIO and they're never going to keep up? Do you think they can bounce back and compete with them in the long term? My next video is going to be in a week or so once the sales figures for September are out for NIO. And I think it'd be interesting to see, am I going to be anywhere near my estimation of 4,200 plus cars? Or very much like with my estimation for the share price for this month, am I going to be very, very far away? Only time will tell. And on that note, guys, be safe. And if you can't be safe, be lucky.